also baked 2 large loaves of bread because I was just feeling like, like I wanted to bake. And I was cleaning the house like crazy in those like last few days. So I knew something was going to happen, and things were just getting closer and progressing more.
Hey everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Entering Motherhood, a podcast dedicated specifically to new moms going through this amazing journey in life. I'm your host, Sarah Bilger, a postpartum nutritional coach / mechanical engineer. And as always, I'm so excited to be here with you and share all of the information I've been lucky enough to obtain since becoming a mom. This episode is a solo episode about how pregnancy has been going for us so far with baby number 2 on the way. So this update is for 35 to 40 weeks of pregnancy, but if you haven't heard, baby builder number 2 is already here. So we didn't quite make it to 40 weeks, and these last few weeks were definitely the most eventful of pregnancy, with so much happening in such a short amount of time. So starting right off at 35 weeks, things started to get a little bit more uncomfortable, and swelling definitely increased. The appointments with the midwives were increased to be every week at this point. And during these few weeks, I had my GBS test, which was super stressful because I had been preparing for this for a couple of weeks and making sure, I was doing quote unquote all the right things to help prevent it from happening. And unfortunately, I did end up testing positive for GBS again, even with, taking all the probiotics and such. So it was a little bit disappointing, and it was super hard to focus at work and really just stay on top of things with the thought of baby coming any day now, and then getting those results back on top of everything. And when I got the GBS results, I did cry. It was kind of an emotional situation, and I was just, already super emotional with hormones and everything. And this was something that, I was crossing my fingers and hoping it wouldn't happen again. And when I got those results, it was definitely something that hit me pretty hard, and just something that I didn't want to have to deal with again in this pregnancy. But I was able to really just recover from it and mentally, reset my mind, and really just quickly be able to accept that this is what it is and be okay with it, and remind myself that it's common and it wasn't going to make a difference in my plans for a VBAC. So, as I mentioned before with GBS, it was just a matter of taking antibiotics while I was in labor. So it didn't change or adjust anything with our plans moving forward. And it was just something that was kind of like emotional, and something that, we worked through. And other than that, appointments were fairly standard, and they gave me some material on preparing for the big day and things that I could do to help start, potentially initiating labor. So that's pretty much what my appointments with the midwives consisted of in the last few weeks. We made sure that our bags were all packed, and I had them set up in a location in the bedroom so nothing would be lost or forgotten, and they'd be ready to go when the time came. We also installed the car seat during these last few weeks, and loaded up the diaper bag that we ended up keeping in the car until, we were at the hospital. So that would be set up and ready to go. I had another prenatal meetup with our doula, and we went a little bit more in depth with
how we felt things were going to go once labor would start. And we went over things like plans for our daughter and where she would be when everything went down, plans for the dogs, if things went, an extended period of time and we were at the hospital, and just other things like that. And really getting in the mindset of like, when it's go time, like, where is this going to be? Where is that going to be? How is this going to be set up? And making sure that we had a overall game plan for whatever situation was going to occur. And we talked a little bit more about the actual process, and we went over hip squeezes and other positions that might be helpful while I'm in labor, and just like moving through all of that. She helped answer also like any questions that I had. And overall, it was just a really informative and comforting meeting that helped get us in the mindset for baby to arrive and really just finalize everything, making sure that we were ready to go and that we were confident in whatever was going to happen. And at around 36 weeks, I signed up for an event that was happening locally that was hosted by 2 moms. And it was really sweet, and it was a great event. And it was really exciting to be around other pregnant mamas. And they had delicious food set up for us. We did some trivia games. They talked about pregnancy and birth. And they also had a photo session set up where each mom that attended had time with the photographer. And there was also these really beautiful outfits that we could wear and put on too during the photo session. So that was really nice to have and be able to capture, that time in my pregnancy and actually have maternity pictures, and also just get to spend the afternoon with other moms and just hear their stories and where they're at and just bond with them. And I had such an amazing time. And one of my close friends who was also pregnant came too. And so that was really nice just to, honor this time in our lives and really just enjoy the moments of being pregnant. And I also got to meet, like I said, other pregnant moms who are in the area. So that's been really nice connecting with some of them and, having people that are in the same stage of life as you are, and really just bounce off ideas like, oh my gosh, this is happening to me. Oh my gosh, that's happening to me. And really just have people to connect with. And then around 37 weeks, we had my in-laws come since we didn't get a chance to see them at Thanksgiving. So they wanted to come down for a visit. And, I have to say it's a lot harder to host and have people over when your body is really starting to become so uncomfortable and you're also in this super nesting mode, and things are being moved around or just not set up how you have been preparing your house and getting things situated. So it did make me a little anxious. But, overall, it was a good time because my daughter got to spend a lot of time with them and got a lot of attention. And I was actually able to go out a bit alone while they were here. And my husband and I also were able to go out on a little bit of a date, which was super nice and super sweet. And we did a lunch date and we did some Christmas shopping, since I didn't think that I was going to be up for staying out late or anything like that. So it worked out really nice. And we did an afternoon out. When we were out Christmas shopping, I did get a lot of swelling in my feet and my hands got all tingly. And that was rough because we were literally just walking around and I felt like I couldn't even do that. So we kind of like ended it a little bit short. But it was nice to just, get out and spend some time, just the 2 of us, before baby came. So that was really nice. When I went out by myself, I went out and I got waxed, and I also went out and got my nails done. So I did this too when I was pregnant with Rosie. And I think it just makes things easier postpartum for me, specifically if you have never gotten waxed before. I'm not sure I would recommend your first time going while you're pregnant because they say it can be more sensitive during this time. But, if you have gotten waxed before and you think it's something that you'd like, I say go for it. I got a full bikini wax and a manicure and a pedicure, and it just really helps me relax and treat myself and get me, in that relaxing mode to be able to bring baby here and feel like I have everything kind of prepped and ready for all that. During this time, I also made sure to finalize our birth preferences, and I continued to listen to all of the Hypnobabies tracks at night and also the affirmations during the day. And I started listening to some new ones this week because there's new ones that get added on as you get closer to your baby's arrival. So there were new tracks that we were listening to, which was exciting and nice. And the tracks really helped me sleep better at night and also just helped get me in a good mindset for what was about to happen and really instill all the affirmations really just helped me, confirm what I was feeling and what I wanted this birth to be like. So I definitely believe that the Hypnobabies had a huge influence on what occurred and how I was feeling. Then Christmas was around 38 weeks, and we decided to go to a friend's house for Christmas Eve since we didn't travel up to PA this year with it being so close to the guest date. And overall, it was really nice to be home for Christmas and wake up in our house and have gifts set up around the tree, like near our fireplace and everything. And we really took the time to relax and, just celebrate and be a family of 3. So Rosie and I actually ended up getting sick though, right after Christmas. And it must have been some sort of stomach bug or whatnot because I was throwing up so much for probably about 12 hours, just like on and off. It completely wiped me out for over 24 hours, and then I slowly started to come around. I was super nervous because when I was throwing up, I've heard that throwing up can actually cause you to go into labor sometimes because your stomach is having similar tightening sensations, and it can feel as though your pressure waves are starting, and it can be triggering to your body and making it think that it's time for baby to come. So I was pretty nervous about that and just wondering, like what that was like for him, like being in my stomach and having these motions happening like while I was throwing up. And I was also nervous about being super dehydrated because I couldn't keep anything down. Even water was hard to drink, and I was just scared of being sick and dehydrated and what that meant for the baby and things like that. So that was not fun. Then I also got a chance to get a massage during these last few weeks. Jeff had gotten me a gift certificate for our anniversary to get a prenatal massage, and when I had reached out to them, they were completely booked and backed up, and I thought I wasn't going to get the chance to have a massage before baby came, but they had an opening and I was able to squeeze in, I think that was maybe around 38 weeks. I can't exactly remember when that was, but I was able to get that massage, and I did this with Rosie as well. I went to the same person. She's amazing and absolutely, so relaxing, and just really focuses on prenatal and postpartum massages and such. And she did, you do, like, you lay on your side, and I got my whole one side massage. She does like a little belly massage, and then the other side. And I actually ended up falling asleep during my massage, which I guess is a good thing. I was so relaxed and really able to just enjoy it and, embrace treating myself to that. So that was great. I was able to do that. And then during these last few weeks, we also had New Year's. So New Year's was around 39 weeks. And it was starting to feel more real. And I was definitely starting to get anxious and prepared for baby to come. I kept telling Jeff that I felt like it was getting closer and it wouldn't be much longer. I was having a lot more, Braxton Hicks at night, and really just feeling like something going on and whatnot. At the midwives appointment, right after my 39 weeks hit, and I went in, I was asking, like, what would happen if I went past 40 weeks, or what would that look like, because I'm trying for a VBAC. And we kind of discussed, like, like, we'll see, like, where we're at, like, if I'm still here after 40 weeks, 41 weeks. And, like, they did talk about, like, being induced and things like that. If it came to that, like, I would still be able to try for the VBAC if it came to that. And, they were giving me some tips on things that I could do, and just reminding me about the dates and the tea that I was drinking, and other steps that we could be taking to help soften the cervix and really get dilation going and have that be more efficient. So I was feeling pretty confident and just wondering, like, what would happen if we got to that point. So that was an appointment on Monday with the midwives, and then he ended up coming that Thursday. So we never got to that 40 weeks, but it was still, good to talk about what would happen if we did go past that 40-week mark, 41 weeks, and what those steps would kind of look like during that time. So that's what we discussed at my 39-week appointment. And then, after that, nesting really just started to increase for sure. Like, I wanted to do all the laundry and was double checking the bags. And I went out shopping and got snacks and little gifts for Jeff and Rosie and our doula and the nurses that we would come across in the hospital. If you're looking to make little gift bags for nurses and stuff, what I did was just, small little items like chapstick, lotion, gum, and candy. And I tried to pick all items that were blue because we knew that we were having a boy. But, you can choose other items or just find, like, cute little things. I also have heard, like, just like handwritten notes and stuff are really nice and sweet and sentimental for them. I also baked 2 large loaves of bread because I was just feeling like, like, I wanted to bake. And I was cleaning the house like crazy in those, like, last few days. So I knew something was going to happen, and things were just getting closer and progressing more. And so, like I said, we were at the midwives appointment on Monday, and then he came on Thursday. So we made it to 39 weeks and 6 days. So we were actually super close to his guest date, which I'm surprised about. But we did never make it to 40 weeks. And it was just, a crazy day. And I'm still in shock with how things went down. But that would probably make a whole other episode for a birth story. So let me know if y'all are interested in hearing that. And I will just say that I'm super proud of myself that I successfully had a completely unmedicated VBAC at the hospital. And now we have a little boy who is doing great. And, we're just so excited. And things have definitely been, an adjustment. But I will be doing postpartum updates as well, probably monthly updates, just to kind of say like what's been going on and how the transition has been, and just filling you guys in on maybe some things that you're going through. And if you have any questions and such, always feel free to reach out to me. These last few weeks really just flew by and obviously resulted in a baby being born. So that's the good news. But it was a rough few last weeks with my body, going through everything mentally and physically and getting sick. So that was hard. I do think, even though with everything that was going on, that if I would have went over the 40 weeks, I would have been fine. I was, comfortable and okay with how I was feeling, and really just felt like, a good mindset of like, he's going to come when he's supposed to come. So I think, especially with the colder weather, it was easier to kind of be pregnant in general, compared to, when I was pregnant with Rosie in August, and it was just like a lot more uncomfortable, and the summer weather was tough to be in being pregnant. So, I really just appreciate the patience that y'all have had too with getting these episodes out to you. I am working on edits still, and, having more episodes coming, and we'll hopefully be back on track soon with them coming out to you consistently on Mondays. So it has been a roller coaster managing this and pregnancy and work and now postpartum, but it truly lights me up. And this is why I'm here doing this and providing you guys with my insight and my story and what it was like for me, to help you feel, not so alone, and that like there are people out there doing this too, and really just provide a space to, welcome you into motherhood and share stories of other people and how they entered motherhood. So, I'm here to provide you all with all the information that I've been lucky enough to obtain, becoming a mom and really just going through this transition myself. So if you feel like you want to reach out and let me know like what you want to hear in upcoming episodes, do it. You can message me on Instagram. You can email me at enteringmotherhood@gmail.com. And really just let me know like what you think, and if you want to be on the show, or if you know somebody who would be a great fit for the podcast. I love hearing from you guys and really just going through this journey. So I have so much planned for this year, and I'm so excited that you're on this ride with me. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode and this recap. And like I said, I will be providing postpartum update episodes just like all of these. So look forward to that, and let me know like what you want to hear, or what you were going through during those weeks of pregnancy or postpartum, and if you had a similar experience and such. So all right, see ya, mamas.
Well, this wraps up yet another episode of Entering Motherhood. I hope that you have found this episode helpful, and if you liked it, please share it with others who might also benefit from this information. If there's anything that you'd like to know more about, or maybe you know someone who'd like to be on the show, please visit my website, enteringmotherhood.com. I'm so thrilled to be going on this journey with you and getting the amazing opportunity to help moms during this postpartum experience. You can also now find us on Instagram and Facebook at Entering Motherhood.